President Cyril Ramaphosa has appointed the Minister of Mineral and Petroleum Resources, Gwede Mantashe, as Interim Minister of Police with immediate effect. Now, Mantashe will serve in his capacity until Professor Firoz Cachalia, who will retire from his position at the University of Witwatersrand at the end of the month. He will assume his position at the start of August. This follows placing Police Minister Senzo Mchunu on a leave of absence after alleged interference with sensitive police investigations. Now, to discuss this further, as well as other issues, we're joined by Mzwandile Banjathwa. He's a campaign coordinator at Corruption Watch. Mzwandile, good to have you. Thanks so much for being with us on the program. And so much happened yesterday and the last couple of days. What do you make of the events?
Good morning, Leon, and good morning to the viewers. I think, firstly, it's really not shocking where we are, looking at the number of reports that Corruption Watch continues to get, particularly within the SAPS. But secondly, it points to the inadequacies of the police to maintain law and order in our country. What is worse is when you're beginning to see that there are high-ranking officials within the SAPS who are complicit in corruption. This actually has dire consequences for the country. But in terms of the Commission of Inquiry, I think it's way overdue. It's something that was supposed to have been done post the Zondo Commission, because some of the revelations rather that came through pointed at the issues within the criminal justice system. And you would remember that the former Chief Justice, Raymond Zondo himself, also pointed to the fact that the information that it came through to him, it did not have sufficient time to deal with all of those issues. And it would be great if they were to be dealt with speedily by other investigations. If we had done that at that particular time, we wouldn't be dealing with some of these issues. So it is long way overdue.
Yeah, let's look at the other development yesterday was General Fani Masemola announcing that Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya will be put on a leave of absence as well. Is this the right process? So we've got the police minister who's on special leave. Now we've got the Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya on special leave of absence. Are these the best routes that we can take with regard to what's happening?
Well, the concept of these leaves are quite interesting. Really, because they sound more political than they would follow the typical employment processes. You would assume that someone who is facing such allegation would be placed on suspension, but unfortunately that's not the case in this particular instance. But of course, you would need that individual to be suspended whilst the case continues, so that there won't be any victimization of would-be whistleblowers or interference with internal processes. So to have them being removed is important.
Yeah, it certainly is important, but one I suppose would imagine it doesn't begin and end with them. There are still key players that obviously we're waiting on evidence of all of this, and hopefully that will start coming through with all these commissions that are going to be sitting and reading into it. But you know, one worries how deep and far this corruption has gone and seeped into the system, and whether or not the likes of somebody like Professor Firoz Cachalia can actually make a difference. Are you confident that he's the man for the job?
Look, I think so. As the organization, of course, we had seen his work. He has worked extensively in civil society. Someone who has worked in the anti-corruption space for some time, and also having served at CW as one of the board members as well. Having also served in the National Anti-Corruption Advisory Council as well. So he brings in that wealth of experience of having worked in an anti-corruption space. But of course, you would remember also that the president also came in through a very strong anti-corruption campaign and promising a new dawn but we have seen corruption really grow under his watch. So it is quite easy for people with good intentions to be assimilated into this pool of impropriety. So it is up to the incoming minister really to prove himself to all of us and to prove us all wrong. And hopefully, as they say, the new broom will sweep clean.
I suppose I'm going to ask the obvious now. And I mean, you stated it at the beginning of the interview. Corruption Watch, you guys have published numerous reports on the state of policing in South Africa, the allegations of corruption, how deep the rot is. This has been coming for a very long time. And there's years of political interference and protection, poor vetting, weak accountability. The trust in the police is sitting at, I don't know what the number is, 22%, if not less than that at this point in time, with everything we've seen. My question to you is the ANC government capable at this point in time of sorting this out, or do we need some external intervention now?
Well, I'm not sure if external interventions might assist. This is a South African problem, and it would need South Africans to really deal with the matter. The ANC has been in power for the past 30 years, and we've seen rise in unemployment, rise in corruption, rise in criminality, and now the infiltration of the state by external actors. So it's a very huge problem. To leave it to the ANC alone is a risk of itself. So South Africans really need to really take a stand here. The Commission of Inquiry is one step, but secondly, holding those accountable or those who would be implicated in that Commission of Inquiry is another step. And it's quite disheartening that we are finding, in some instances, Commission of Inquiry is being used to exonerate certain people and being seen as delaying justice. So it's a very huge problem. A lot of people don't have confidence in these commissions of inquiry, but they are important. And unfortunately, you can't blame them, because having seen some of the commissions of inquiry's work, bringing in the recommendations, and those recommendations not even taken to heart, and some of them being partially implemented, it becomes a huge disappointment.
Yeah, it truly has been a very huge disappointment, and one, I suppose, asking the question, this is is it the final nail in the state capture that we've been dealing with? I mean, does this talk to us about how state capture has basically simply shifted to the security cluster, and the fact that it's always been there? Perhaps this is what the country needs.
So yes, firstly, it's quite problematic because it's deeply rooted. Corruption is deeply rooted in most of these sectors, and actually in all of the sectors, in all of these departments. So it's a very huge problem that we are faced with. It seems that the state is perpetually captured. And that's a very huge problem that we really need to deal with. The Commission of Inquiry is one step, but there are other important steps that the country needs to take so that we root ourselves of this corruption that is happening within the SAPS that undermines public trust.
All right, we leave it there. Mzwandile Banjathwa, who is a campaign coordinator at Corruption Watch, talking about the latest events over the last few days following allegations made by the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi.